And from the planets of the great sages, the Ganges flows, not exactly flows, but it's carried by billions of celestial airplanes. And what the scientists call the Milky Way, they see the Milky Way, but they don't know what it is. Actually, the Milky Way is the Ganga, the celestial Ganges, being carried by these billions of celestial airplanes to the planet of Chandraloka, the moon planet. And the Ganges inundates the entire moon planet, sanctifying it. And from the moon planet, the Ganges descends to the top of Mount Meru, where Brahma's abode. And from the top of Mount Meru, the Ganges is divided into 4 branches, and gradually it falls on the Himalayas, the middle planets, and the lower planets. So this is very nicely described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, in the chapter called The Descent of the River Ganges. So from time immemorial, human beings have been attracted to living on the bank of the Ganges. Here in Kansas City, it was established on the banks of the rivers Missouri and Kansas, because the soil on the riverbanks is very fertile, and the river provides transportation as well as water and so many necessities of life. When Prabhupada was traveling all over the world, he saw that nowadays the rivers in the Western world, in North America and Europe, are actually nasty. And he was in New York City. He saw the rivers are so nasty because they're polluted with industrial waste and sewage. But formerly, before Kali Yuga, it was not so. But Prabhupada once remarked, when he was in Montreal, the St. Lawrence River is one river in North America that is still unpolluted. So we see in this purport that Krishna has this eternal form of bliss and knowledge, which is distinct from this temporary material bodies, Shishi Gornatai. This material body is a combination of material elements like blood, bones, mucus, stool, and urine. So if somebody thinks that on this combination of blood, bone, stool, mucus, and urine, that is not very good intelligence. So we learn from Bhagavad Gita that the soul is separate from the body, and Krishna's body is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. We never see Krishna, a picture of Krishna where he's sad or morose. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, observing the armies on a battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna and Arjuna were seated on the chariot, and they were observing the strength of the different armies. And at that time, Krishna was smiling. On the battlefield, Krishna was smiling, but on the same battlefield, Arjuna was morose. And there's a nice painting in the Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita of Krishna and Arjuna on the chariot. Krishna's smiling, but Arjuna seems very dejected because he has to fight with so many friends and relatives. But Krishna is never dejected, and Krishna knew the outcome of the battle, but still he knows that he's always doing the right thing for the living entities, because anyone that died in the battle of Kurukshetra, they attained their Swarup city. They went back home, back to Godhead, and they revive their eternal forms of bliss and knowledge. So anything Krishna does is good for the living entity. Even when he's killing the demons, Krishna's smiling because he knows he's giving the demons liberation. Just like Maharaj just said, even by killing Kamsa was freed from all sinful reactions, and he became a great devotee of the Lord. So when sometimes Krishna likes to fight, because this is the natural desire. So sometimes this prophetic reflection is seen in the material world, where there are wrestling matches or boxing matches, because sometimes Krishna likes to do these things. But when Krishna fights, generally he fights with a devotee who is playing the role of a demon, just like Jai and Vijay took the roles of Yaksha, Hiranyakasipu, and Jagai and Madai. So Krishna is all merciful. Whatever he does is good. And we see that meditation, according to Shastras, meditation should be on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. It's a great stage called Vishwamitra. Formerly, he was a Kshatriya, but he knew that the yogis were much more powerful than the Kshatriyas, so he decided to become a yogi. He decided to become a Brahmin, and he was meditating great austerities, and he was following the principles of yoga perfectly. He was the perfect yogi, but he was approached by an apsara, Menaka. She came down from the heavenly planets, and she was dancing. And by the sound of her ankle bells, Vishwamitra Muni's eyes were half closed in yoga meditation, but he was captivated by the sound of this dancing girl, and he fell down and performed a Gandharva marriage and married this Menaka, and as a result, the child Shakuntala was born. And this Menaka, she was a society girl in the courtyard of King Indra. And this Menaka, she was born when the demons and demigods were churning the ocean of milk on Sweta Dweep. Menaka was born from the ocean, and she was considered the most beautiful girl in the court of Indra. And court of Indra felt threatened when he sees someone performing severe austerities, because he's afraid that this person might become more powerful than me. So this envy is sometimes present even in the heavenly planets. So King Indra decided to send a society girl, Menaka, to distract the sage Vishwamitra from his meditation. But Menaka was afraid to go because she knew that Vishwamitra had a short temper, and if she failed to seduce him, she would get cursed. But still, she followed the instructions of Indra and came down, and she was successful. And as soon as her mission was completed and the little girl Shakuntala was born, she returned to the protection of King Indra, and the Shakuntala was left by the river near the hermitage of the sage Kanva. Similarly, when Haridas Thakur was tempted by a prostitute that was sent by an envious person. He was chanting Hare Krishna for 3 days, and by hearing the chanting of the Hare Krishna, the prostitute became a great devotee, and she shaved her head and she gave up all her wealth that she acquired from prostitution, and she became a great devotee of the Lord, and she was worshiping Tulsi Devi every day. So the meditation of the devotee in Bhakti Yoga is far different from the meditation of the impersonalists, which is described in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as very troublesome. One has to meditate on the unmanifested, that which is not perceived by the senses, which is very difficult to do. But the process of Bhakti Yoga is very easy because we can engage all our senses in the service of the Lord. We do not give up sense gratification, but we engage our senses in the service of the Lord. Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevana, Bhaktiruchite. Just like the best example is Maharaj Ambarish. He engaged all his senses in the service of the Lord. And the devotee is hearing the most beautiful things. He's hearing the most beautiful music and songs and chanting. And he's seeing the most beautiful thing, the transcendental form of the Lord. And every day, morning and evening, we're meditating on the transcendental form of the Lord. And this is the perfection of sight. We can meditate on the transcendental form of the spiritual master. This is as good as form of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada had a servant called Ishan. And one day Srila Prabhupada asked his servant Ishan, "Well, Ishan, are you thinking of Krishna?" And Ishan, he was kind of on the mental platform, and he said, "Well, Prabhupada, sometimes." And then Prabhupada said, "Well, just think of me thinking of Krishna." So every day we're hearing Srila Prabhupada Lima. And the pastimes of Prabhupada are as good as the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he's in his eternal position as eternal servant of the Lord. Any comments or questions? Yes, Jagannath Prabhu.
Okay. So I was wondering why Krishna doesn't fight in the spiritual world only, and why does he want someone to hate him to fight?
Because in the spiritual world, there are no demons. So Krishna fights with the demons. Krishna doesn't fight with his loving devotees, although sometimes there are arguments with the gopis, but these arguments are just to increase the bliss of Krishna and also of Krishna's devotees.
So is it because he wants to inspire us? So because of his heroism, is that it?
Yes, the devotees take pleasure in killing the demons. Prajanaya saranam vinashaya duskritam. Krishna's mission is to give protection to the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants.
Hare Krishna. I was just wondering if Vishwamitra Muni became a Brahmarshi. I thought I remembered hearing that in the Ramayana. He wanted to become a Brahmarshi or a Brahma Rishi, a Brahmarshi like Vashishta Muni.
Yeah. Vishwamitra Muni and Vashishta had a long series of disputes. Does anyone else know this subject matter? This chapter in Bhagavatam is called Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. So when one answers to problems, he has to consult the Lord or the Lord's representative, the spiritual master. In the material world, there's so many problems, just like in the American history. It's a series of one problem, one war, one depression, one problem after another. But to solve these problems, one has to consult either the Lord, just like Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, or the Lord's representative. On the internet nowadays, there's so many false gurus. Last week I was there's this one so-called guru who popped up on the internet, and he said that they were building a great temple for Lord Ramachandra in Ayodhya, India, and he was saying that, in my opinion, Lord Ramachandra is a human being because he was born at a certain time and place, and he died at a certain time and place. So even though he has many millions of followers all over the world, by hearing him speak, anybody in the Brahma Sampradaya can understand he's a fool. He's a demon because he's blaspheming the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says, "Falsely arrive me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature, my supreme dominion over all that be." So if one wants to be a guru, one has to follow a guru in the authorized sampradaya. Otherwise, it'll be simply the disturbance. And he may be dressed in nice robes and be a charismatic person, but still, by his speech, he's misleading so many millions of people. It's time for the Sankirtan Festival. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
So we'll read the scores from this first week of January. For the pleasure of their lordships, Sri Sri Gauranitai, Lord Nrsimhadev, Tulsi Maharani, the Sampradaya Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, and His Holiness Dhanavir Goswami, and all the assembled devotees. I think Dwijamani Prabhu is cooking the breakfast, so I haven't had his score yet, but maybe we'll get it here. Oh, and we got another one. We got a new score. This just in. Okay, so this week, we had 8 book distributors. And in 8th position with 1 small book and 1 medium book for a total of 0.75 book points, Arya Siddhanta Prabhu. Haribo. In 7th position with 3 medium books for a total of 1.5 book points, Radha Damodar Prabhu. Haribo. In 6th position with 1 big book and 1 Maha big book for a total of 3 book points, Radha Stali Devidasi. Haribo. Score. Okay, yeah, if you text it. In Fifth position with one small book, one medium book, one big book, and one Maha big book for a total of 3.75 book points. Magadari Prabhu. Vanished. In fourth position with three small books, three medium books, and two big books for a total of 5.75 book points. Maturanath Prabhu. Haribo. In third, well, I don't know Dwijamani Prabhu's score yet. So I think in third position with 6 small books, 3 medium books, 3 big books, and 1 Maha big book for a total of 8 book points. Mridanga Prabhu. Haribo. Okay. All right. Mridanga Prabhu, this is for you. With 6 small books, 12 medium books, and 10 Maha big books for a total of 6. For a total of 33.5 book points. Dwijamani Prabhu. Haribo. Thank you. In first position with 37 small books, 28 medium books. Did you get one? 59 big books, 52 Maha big books, and 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set for a total of 258.25 book points. Rishi Kumar.
Rishi Kumar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So I guess I'll say the Bhagavatam set. There was a really nice home program at Ramana Prabhuji's home. And then after the program, after everyone took prasadam and was nice and pleased by the prasadam, then we tried to approach people and just try to be nice to them, ask about where they're from, talk about foods from where they're from. And then I just told them about the temple and showed them this little pamphlet that talks about the temple and asked if they wanted to donate to the nice project going on here. I was telling them it's a really special center because it's one of the few places in the country or in the world that's actually preaching and training people in Krishna consciousness. So I tried to talk about that. And this one devotee, he had a few questions about the temple to make sure it was like a good idea. And then he gave 308 and I gave him and his wife the Bhagavatam set, and they were really excited to read it. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
Rishi Kumar Prabhu was kind enough to take me for a field trip to Oak Park Mall, and it was Saturday night. It was a very happening spot, and there was a young man, African American man, walking quickly down the hall, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, you look very talented. What do you do? What do you mean?" I said, "What's your occupation?" "I'm a welder. I weld." Wow, that's a really noble work, and I just glorified him as professing to me. I said, that's really noble. Like, I really appreciate that. That's like something meaningful. Do you like doing that? He's like, yeah, I feel great. So I was like, good. It sounds like you found your good. Here, read this book because it's for people like you who are already self-satisfied. It can take you to the next level of this. Wow. And he was like really happy because he felt honored. Because I wasn't just speaking empty words. I actually appreciated that he was patient, gave me time. I was appreciating him. It's like a quick connection was made there. So he was just like happy to reciprocate. He pulled out his cash out, gave a nice donation, smiled, shook my hand. Wow, it's really good time.
Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Mridanga Prabhu.
Well, we were talking on Plaza and, you know, at first one guy is, with a couple other people and, he goes, a set of, Rishi,
The Bhakta stack.
about that. And, some other books, well, gave a nice donation on the, so there's another distribution.
Materna.
Krishna, so there were three nice, college students that came to visit the temple for the first time. Saturday, Krishna Kesh, Nataraj, and Boksha. They were looking to, I was chanting in the temple room and they were just kind of sitting in taking their eyes closed after they took their shot. And, chanting maybe 20 minutes and they were meditating. And I talked to them about meditation. Took them over to the back table and they were interested in our literature. Took two Bhagavad Gitas, and they took spiritual yoga, one SSR, an avatar art, and journey of self-discovery. And then I showed them how to chant Japamala and beads, and they all took Tulsi beads, and then they asked about the nim beads and why we wear them. Once they were asking us questions, wear them while eating, wear them while bathing. And then I put Tulsi nim beads on all three of them. They agreed to start going. It was really nice interaction. Kind of right before our home program, so it was nice and vibrant. Right.
Chansana book distribution ki jai. Whenever Magadari is available, we can hear his. Radhastali Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Last night I had a really nice conversation with our dear Puja. And she was just expressing how she wanted to read the Bhagavad Gita and actually understand what Krishna's teaching. And so I just encouraged her to take a Bhagavad Gita home. That's what I want.
Jai.
Yeah, actually, I double tapped the points that he.
So I didn't get any points. But there were some nice people that came, some these nice gentlemen, and then Maturnath was talking to them, sweetened them up, and then yeah, the last guy got some Tulsi Kunti malas, Kunti beads, and then yeah, he gave a donation for that, and then I just gave him a stack. So I think that was the points that he counted. Thank you.
So we had a guest almost a week ago named I think we all seen Daryl now, right? And he came for the 1 o'clock arati, and he sang with us, chanted Hare Krishna with us. And then Ajit and I, we had to go take care of something really quick, so we left him with the Bhagavad Gita. and then he took prasadam with us, and after prasadam he helped me do a bunch of services around the temple, like smashing the trash down outside and breaking down all the boxes in the corner and helping me with laundry and sweeping out the basement. And then we came up here and I showed him all around the temple and kind of explained to him that we have a training center here and things like that. And then we were going to give him a Bhagavad Gita, but there weren't any present at that moment because apparently a bunch of Bhagavad Gitas were going out, which is great. So he took the Bhakti yoga, the art of love. Or what is it? The art of eternal love. And also he got some chanting beads and a bead bag. So.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Radha Damodar Prabhu. Sorry.
I was hoping that no one would say anything. We were at Harinam at the plaza, and some girls came up to the van and they were interested, and so I gave them yeah, Ishavanishad, and she gave a donation, and then her friend wanted a donation, so then she got a higher taste. Yeah, and so that was pretty nectar, and they got some cards, yeah, Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai.
Ja.